resetting your Ravelry. It's really hard to say that. Hi friends, my name is Amanda and welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you tuning in to this video. I got hit with a little bit of COVID, so there's been a little bit of a lack of videos recently, but I am back and healthy, and I have a lot of video plans for the new year. Today, we're going to talk about the 5 things that I am doing to get myself ready for my knitting and crochet this year. And I thought I would share that with you because I thought that it's really helpful for me to kind of reset and plan, focus everything for the year so that I can have a very successful year when doing my knitting and crochet projects this year. So let's get into the video. So the first thing that I am working on to kind of get myself ready for the new year is I'm tallying my stats for 2023. So over the past year, thanks to Leslie from Knit California, I was inspired to start documenting everything, whether that was yarn in, yarn out, projects started, projects completed, destashing yarn, anything like that. And so I have been keeping track of everything that I've been working on over the past year. And I thought it would be really great to start tallying everything. So right now I've started working on tallying all those projects. So that way I have a better sense of what I was able to accomplish this past year. By keeping track of your stats, I think it really helps you reflect on your projects and your goals and perhaps what you wanted to do versus what you were able to do. And it just gives you another data point to kind of project plan for the year, or maybe there were some things you didn't like or you didn't want to work on, and you can kind of pivot for the new year. So I am tallying my 2023 stats, and I'll have a separate video on my 2023 stats along with my goals for 2024, so stay tuned for that in a future video. So the second thing that I am working on is resetting my Ravelry queue. I didn't completely delete it or anything like that. I took the time to check out my Ravelry library and look at projects that I've either purchased or really liked that might slide into my queue. I also use my queue as a way to track what yarn I've attached to a project. So over the past few months, I've tried to be a little bit more intentional in my yarn purchases. By no means have I stopped buying yarn or anything like that, but I have tried to be a little bit more intentional in when buying, having a specific project in mind, or perhaps a project category. So like a sweater quantity or a knitted top. And so my queue is really big. I don't use it as like necessarily the next thing that I'm going to be working on. But once I've acquired yarn or yarn that's in my stash that would be good for a project and I've identified that project, I add it to my queue. So it was really important for me to shuffle through and kind of reprioritize my projects because I wanted to identify my top 12. I know a lot of people do make 9s, but I don't know, 12 just seemed like a better number, and there was a lot that I wanted to do. And so I've reset it, reorganized the top 12 to kind of be in an order that I want to work on, but by no means am I necessarily have to stick to that, doing, number 1 first, number 2, but it refreshes my queue and it allowed me to take off things that I necessarily don't want to make anymore, or maybe wanted to drop to the bottom of the queue because it's not necessarily a priority for me. Resetting your Ravelry queue can be a really great exercise to refresh kind of what you want to work on and reprioritize your upcoming projects. So the third thing that I am doing at the start of 2024 to get myself ready is kind of checking my stash to make sure everything is in my Ravelry stash online. I use Ravelry to organize my stash in digital version. I take photos of any new acquisitions or any old acquisitions. I'll link below some of my organizing videos where I undertook a lot of this project. So now it's just about maintenance, but sometimes yarn comes in and you forget to put it into Ravelry, or I put it into Ravelry, but I didn't take a photo. So this is a chance for me to kind of refresh and relook at my yarn stash to make sure that everything is in my yarn stash on Ravelry. And so I'll be going through this, just kind of reorganizing it a little bit and making sure that everything's accounted for in my Ravelry library so that I know what yarn I have, so that when I find a project, I can match it to the yarn. That's what I really like to do. One of the great features about Ravelry is, you know, if you look at a project, it will, if you have yarn that matches what's in the project, like a DK weight, it will provide you suggestions. And that's a great way for me to kind of go through projects. Like when I see them on Ravelry and I don't necessarily have a project assigned to that yarn, I can be like, oh, that's really great. I want to make the Lento sweater. And now I'm going to use this La Bien Amie yarn that I have been saving. I just didn't necessarily have a project for it. So definitely going through your stash and updating, whether it's a project spreadsheet or if you're like me, Ravelry, to make sure everything's up to date. The fourth thing that I am really putting an effort into this year is destashing yarn that I am no longer in love with. I don't see myself necessarily using in the next year or two. And for me, that's going to be a lot of my acrylic-based yarn. I am going to keep some because there are some that I really like to use for blankets and home decor and things like that. So I'm not going to completely destash all of my acrylic yarn. I think acrylic is great and has a space for those that want to use it, and for me, it's about, I like to use it in home decor. I have several blankets made out of acrylic-based yarn because it's affordable. It's a really affordable way to crochet or knit large pieces like blankets for not a lot of money. So I'm going to be going through my stash and pulling out yarn that I would like to destash. And I really want to make a concerted effort to destash it on a Discord server that I'm a part of. And I might look at other ways, like perhaps Facebook Marketplace for like some bulky random bits. Facebook Marketplace was actually where I got a lot of my yarn to start, but then I quickly kind of tailspinned into, oh, new shiny yarn at the yarn store. And so I do have quite a bit of acrylic based or non-natural fibers, and I would like to rehome that, because just because it's not something that I want to use doesn't mean it's not something that could be rehomed in someone else's home. I had a decent amount of luck destashing last year. I started getting into it, but that was more for on Ravelry. Actually, you can mark your items as, you know, willing to sell or trade. And so I was actually able to ship several packages all across the country, even over to Europe. And so I'm going to be using Discord, Ravelry, and maybe a few other things like Facebook Marketplace to destash yarn that I'm no longer in love with and really get a better sense of what I have here and kind of organize it a little bit better, because, you know, some of my hand dyed stuff is just kind of squished and I don't want that. I want it to breathe a little bit more. I'm not only gonna just destash acrylic, it's mostly gonna be acrylic, but there's some colorways in here from some mystery kind of yarn clubs that I was a part of in 2022 that I'm not necessarily in love with. I know that there are people out there that love those colors, and so I really want to find new homes for them. So I'm going to do a lot of destashing in 2024. So the final thing that I am doing to get myself ready for 2024 knitting and crocheting is setting my goals for 2024. Again, I'm going to have another video that talks about my goals for 2024 along with my 2023 stats. But I need to take the time to kind of sit down and go through kind of what I want to accomplish, whether that's skills, specific projects, my yarn kind of collection, in terms of like the quantity, how I want to use it, all that kind of thing. So I really want to sit down and think about the goals that I have for my crafting journey, my yarn journey for 2024, but also some of the goals that I have for my platform, AceKreates, and what I want to do with that over the next year. And so my last tidbit, my final point is just to goal set for 2024. Hopefully that wasn't too long of a video. I just wanted a little quick top five things that I'm doing to get myself ready for 2024 crafting. Hopefully you can take away or be inspired by some of the things that I'm doing to get myself ready. I would love to hear what you're doing in 2024 to get yourself ready for the year of crafting. Sound out in the comments below. I'd really appreciate if you like this video to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. My content focuses on podcasts and showcasing what I'm working along, hauls. I do some vlogs on Fiberfest yarn crawls. I also do kind of random one-off videos. If I'm reviewing a product that I really like or don't like, in the case of my Yarn Swift, or things like these kind of like short highlights, to project plan, my top 12 for the year, all that kind of thing. So if you like that kind of content, consider subscribing to my channel. If you are already subscribed to my channel, I really want to thank you because I am so appreciative for this journey that I'm on and this community that I am a part of, this fiber arts community. I really, really love it. And this is my tiny corner of the internet, and I'm really excited that you're on this journey with me. Check out what I'm wearing. This is actually one of my first garments. This is the Dahlia Cardi from Classic City Crochet. I test crocheted this back in 2022. This was actually my first test. And I've since then tested several other items, but this is my handmade outfit of the video. Thank you so much for watching, friends, and I will see you in the next video.